this session, you are going to need a strap or a band or something that resembles something like this. So a tie, a bit of rope, a sling, whatever you've got available. And we're going to be utilizing this for both our upper and our lower body. Let's get going. So we're going to start firstly with our shoulders and our arms and our wrists. So the first thing I'd like you to do is with the strap in just one hand, or you can drop it to the mat. We're just going to do a couple of shoulder rolls just to loosen up this area. Nice big circles, really driving those shoulders forwards, taking them up towards your ears, driving them back. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, dropping those shoulders, and then once again. So do a couple of circles on one side or one way, and then going around the other way. It's quite common to feel or hear some little crackles. As long as it's not painful, it should be okay. Good. So once we've done that, we're just going to take our hands either side of our body. What I'm going to do is I've got my feet maybe hip width apart or slightly, about hip width apart. I'm going to sort of throw my hips forward so I've got a nice long line from my head through my torso all the way down to the floor. I'm slowly going to reach down to one side, keeping my body as straight as I can. So imagine I'm between two panes of glass. I'm going to reach over to the side without hinging my body forwards or back. For 3, for 2, for 1. I'm going to take my gaze up towards the ceiling, rotate my torso up as well. Try and keep those hips and those knees facing forward. For 3, for 2, for 1. Rotate that torso back towards the side as if it's between two panes of glass. And then coming up, we're going to go for the other side. So dropping that left hand, lifting that right arm, keeping those shoulders as low as you possibly can. So not up by your ears, going as far as you can. And then take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Rotate that torso a little bit. Keep those knees and those hips facing forwards. For 2, for 1. Get into a safe position. So rotate that torso back to a nice central position. And then come up. Good. Loosen those legs, wiggle those knees, wiggle those shoulders. Good. From here, we're going to take the strap. We're going to place it around our wrists. So I've got a sort of a tie-like strap. I'm going to place it in the middle of it, and then I'm going to drive my hand. So I've got a nice sort of link here, you can see. I'm going to take that over my head, and with my left hand, I'm going to reach up and try and grab hold of that strap, driving or trying to pull my right hand down towards to meet my left hand. Some of you might be able to link your hands and just create a nice sort of resistance there, but most of us might find that quite challenging, especially if we're trying to keep a nice neutral position on the spine. If you're overarching the back, it might be a bit easier, but try and keep that neutral position. So if you imagine your rib cage and your pelvis trying to squeeze the fronts together. So walking your left hand up towards your right hand and creating a nice long stretch on your right tricep, but it's also going to be working this left shoulder as well. We're going to hold this position for 3, keeping that torso nice and tight. For 2, for 1. Here, take your feet hip width apart. Keep that nice tight position with the strap in your torso. Try and keep a neutral spine as you hinge forwards, popping your bottom out behind you and dropping your torso towards the floor. Maybe bending those knees. You're really tight on the hamstrings. For 3, for 2. Keep breathing. For 1, slowly coming up. Squeeze that pelvic floor. Try and keep that balance there. For 3, for 2. For 1, and we're in this nice position. We're going to just do a twist. So taking our gaze towards the left hand side of the room, keep your hips nicely fixed. For 2, for 1, slowly coming back, 1 continuous movement all the way around. For 3, for 2, for 1, slowly coming back to center, releasing that left hand, releasing the right hand. You might want to roll those shoulders out a little bit, depending on how tight you've been holding that strap. Good, we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to take my left hand through the center of the strap, twist my palm down towards the length of the strap, and then grab hold of the strap. Take that left hand over the top of my head. With my right hand, I'm going to grab that strap, and I'm going to try and walk my hands close together. And then I'm going to try and neutralize that spine. So lifting or allowing that left tricep to be pulled to the bottom of the upper arm. And then also trying to create a nice neutral position with my torso and my spine, but while stretching my right shoulder area. We're going to hold this for 3, for 2, for 1. Taking your feet hip width apart, we're going to slowly hinge forwards. Again, trying to engage that core. Keep that back nice and fixed. Hinging forwards for 3, for 2, for 1. Squeezing that pelvic floor as you come up all the way. Keeping that nice position, you're going to rotate round towards the right hand side first, keeping those hips nice and fixed for 2, for 1, and then 1 continuous movement, move all the way around to the other side of the room, trying to keep those hips fixed once again for 2, for 1, slowly coming back, releasing both hands, rolling the shoulders, maybe moving your head from side to side. Taking the strap out in front of you, and hopefully it's long enough, and taking a nice wide grip with it. If you struggle with your shoulder mobility, you might want to go quite wide here. Right, so I'm actually actively gripping the strap or the band with my hands. If you have got a band you're using, try and pull it enough so you've got some tension and some torque there. So I'm dropping my shoulders as low as possible, pulling this band apart. Imagine I'm trying to rip it in half, keeping that tension, and then slowly lifting up over the top of my head. So it's nice in line as if I had a bar overhead. I've got a nice long line here, holding it up for 3, for 2, for 1. I'm going to twist around towards the right hand side of the room, and then I'm going to come back to center and then go towards the left hand side of the room. That's the easy part. Keeping that tension in my hands, I'm slowly going to drive that strap all the way down behind my back, keeping those arms nice and long. Noticing how this is pulling on your shoulders. If you need to bend your elbows, do so. If you can, you're going to keep those arms nice and straight. Keep that tension there. So you're really trying to split that strap all the way down towards where your lower back is, or wherever that strap sort of rests with that tension through it. Keeping that tension, you're going to twist your palms towards the front of the room and your forearms, and then you're going to try and bring your fists close together in front of you. Here you're going to notice it again in the shoulder area, all the way across the top of the back as well. For 3, as if you're hitting a volleyball here. For 2, for 1, slowly opening up, keeping that tension, really trying to split that band. Sweep that band or that strap all the way over the top of your head. Try really hard not to bend those arms. And then slowly bring it down in front of you, noticing how that feels on the shoulders, dropping the shoulders as you go, and then bring it around the front of your waist. Hopefully the strap or the band isn't too thin. From here, you can see I'm already doing it. I'm going to wrap it around my waist. I'm going to try and sweep my palms away from my body and bring my knuckles towards each other. I can't actually get my knuckles all the way around. I'm going to really try to. For 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly releasing, coming to a nice central position, relaxing the band or the strap, releasing those hands, maybe sort of wiggling them out, rolling those shoulders. Good. So we've done a little bit upper body mobility and tension. So we tried to create some strength in some of those movements. If you found them really hard, either take your grip wider or bend those elbows slightly. You will get better rotation as you do these sort of things more regularly. Taking the strap now, I'm going to pop it underneath my right foot. So at the very top of the arch where all my bone or my toe joints are, and I'm just going to grab it with one hand. I'm going to bring my knee up towards my chest. So I'm actively going to use the strap to help me into position. The strap is also flexing my toes towards my shin. I'm just going to maneuver the strap so it's nice and close, or my hand is relatively close towards my foot. So I'm not having to bend my arm very much at all in this position. I've got my left hand on my left hip. I'm just holding this position, keeping a nice upright torso, and then I'm going to take it out towards the side. Notice how this feels on your hip. For 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly release your grip a little bit. Allow that leg to lengthen, and then sweep it all the way around behind you. So just watch the lower back here. You can see I'm holding onto the wall with my left hand. For 3, for 2, for 1. Sweep that foot all the way forwards. If you can, walk your hands towards that strap and hold with your leg nice and long. Just be careful here. What we want to do is we want to have a nice right long arm, and we also want to be relatively upright with our torso for 3, for 2, for 1, breaking at the knee, slowly dropping that foot down towards the mat. I'm just going to have this strap now in my left hand as I do a couple of cards with my right hip. So I'm going to have my hands on my hips. I'm going to lift my right foot towards my chest. So I'm bringing my knee up. And I'm going to slowly sweep it round like what we've just done with the strap. Then I'm going to continue to sweep round, point my toes, and then drop my foot down. So I'm going to do the same again. So bringing my right knee towards my chest, opening up, continuing around, lengthening off that leg, that right leg, hinging forwards, bringing my right leg to meet my left leg. Other side. So dropping the strap underneath the toe joints, so at the top of the arch. Again, just bending that knee. So finding some balance here. Sometimes your balance might be off on the day. Just adjusting your strap so you've got a nice long left arm here. Standing upright, so throwing those hips forwards, trying to reduce the extension in the lumbar spine here. Opening up towards the side of the room, feeling it really on the hip area. For 3, for 2, for 1. Releasing that strap in your hand, sweeping that foot round from the side to behind you. Holding on for 3, for 2, for 1. Dropping that left foot towards the floor. Taking that left foot up in front of you. Now nice and long. For 3, upright torso. For 2, for 1, slowly releasing that strap towards the floor. Good. So I'm going to drop the strap now. I'm going to do a couple of cards with my left hip. So bring my left knee towards my left chest, opening up towards the side, sweeping around, pointing my left toes, dropping my hips to the squares to the floor, bringing my left foot to meet my right foot. Same again, left knee up towards the left hip, open up nice and wide, sweep round, point those left toes, hips square towards the floor if you can. Slowly standing up, bring your left foot to meet your right foot. And then we're finishing there. So just shake those legs out. There were some quite hard movements in there, challenging your range of motion in your hips and also in your shoulders. Don't worry if you felt as though you weren't doing them very well. Just try and work on your own sort of level of mobility. So if you're finding it hard straightening your legs, keep those knees bent. If you're finding it hard with your shoulder rotation, maybe take that grip wider or release that tension a little bit so we can start working on that range of motion of that joint. I really hope you enjoyed that session. I hope it wasn't too hard, or if you smashed it, well done, and I'll see you on my next session. Thanks so much.